Welcome to Signed, Sealed, Delivered Summer on Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark movie fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater.
Today, we are discussing Signed, Sealed, Delivered, The Vows We Have Made, which originally premiered on Sunday, October 17th, 2021. Hang out with us when the podcast is over. Follow us on Instagram. We have 2 Instagram accounts for your viewing pleasure. They are Girls Gone Hallmark and Megan and Wendy.
Hey, if you're not part of our Girls Gone Hallmark Facebook group, we would love to invite you to come join. There is a link in our show notes. Come give us a join. Come talk about Hallmark movies. It's good fun. And I want to invite, if you are strictly a signed, sealed, delivered listener, Megan and I would like to invite you to listen to a couple of our other episodes. You're going to get the same Megan and Wendy. So we would love for you to be like a regular listener.
And even if you're not watching those movies, just hang out. And maybe our reviews will give you an idea of which ones deserve your time.
Yes, exactly. That's good advice, Megan.
Let's move on to a synopsis of The Vows We Have Made.
Sure. Shane and Oliver help a young boy fighting leukemia reunite with his long-lost friend while preparing for their own wedding. Also, Rita and Norman deal with the challenges of trying to start a family.
For news and notes, Linda Lisa Hayter directed The Vows We Have Made. Hayter currently has 14 directing credits and is known for movies like Cranberry Christmas, Unexpected Grace, the most recent Signed, Sealed, Delivered, A Tale of Three Letters, and the most recent Signed, Sealed, Delivered, A Tale of Three Letters. She will also direct the upcoming Signed, Sealed, Delivered, To the Moon and Back. Hayter was a 2022 Leo Award nominee for Best Direction in a Television Movie.
I'd like to also note that Linda Lisa was the mentor for Crystal Lowe on Shifting Gears as well.
That's cool.
Isn't that super cool?
Yeah.
I love that. Like my heart feels like so much joy when like women helping women, like especially in that kind of project. I love it.
Totally.
My dogs are making a lot of noise. I'm sorry if you can hear them.
I can't.
This script was written by Martha Williamson.
Indeed it was. All of our regulars return, including Gregory Harrison as Joe, Zach Santiago as Ramon, and Jill Morrison as Hazel.
Rhiannon Fish makes her Signed, Sealed, Delivered debut as Charlie. Fish has 27 acting credits and most recently returned as Charlie in The Tale of Three Letters. She will also be seen in A Costa Rican Wedding, premiering on Hallmark Channel this weekend.
Sherry Miller plays Shane's mom, Sharon. Miller has a whopping 98 acting credits and is known for Hallmark projects like Pride, Prejudice, and Mistletoe and Family History Mysteries Buried Past. She will appear in Hot Frosty, coming to Netflix this winter, starring Lacey Chabert, written by Russell Hainline.
Jude Wilson plays teenage Owen. He has 23 acting credits and has appeared in Hallmark movies like In Merry Measure and Campfire Christmas.
Carol Burnett, Valerie Harper, and Marion Ross all appear via archived footage in this movie. Let's talk first impressions.
Well, for me, this was an incredible series finale.
Oh, except it's not.
I know.
So my first impression is take this as your cue to hydrate before watching this movie. You won't be able to keep the tears away.
For real, right? I know I texted you personally. I was like, the amount I have cried watching these last 2 movies is not okay.
My husband watched this with me in spite of the fact that he has not watched all Signed, Sealed, Delivered movies. And at the end, he's like, that was an emotional one. It's rough.
You have to show him the Christmas movie this year. I think
he watched the Christmas movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then. Okay.
Yeah. He watched it actually right around the time we were watching it.
I cannot wait. I am definitely rewatching that this holiday season.
For sure. Famously, if you have been listening throughout Signed, Sealed, Delivered summer, the Christmas movie, I believe, is the first movie after the series of 10 episodes. And I asked him, because he watched it before I did, I was like, oh, have Oliver and Shane boned yet? And he was like, no. So I have been problematic since day one.
You're not. You're You just said out loud what a lot of us think. So
Indeed. All right, let's move on to our likes.
Well, for me, this was another great movie. I thought it was so beautifully written, especially the dialogue. And I personally took away like the theme of the movie. You know, they said so many times, trust the timing, trust the timing. But also, I thought another important theme to it was, you know, about holding on to things and when it's time to let go of things. And I just thought that that's a nice reminder to kind of, you know, like give yourself a check when things aren't going well for you. Like, is it time to let go of things? And, you know, I told you off mic about something I let go of recently this weekend. And
Indeed.
It was after this movie. So
Oh, look at you. You applied it to your own life.
I did.
Signed, sealed, delivered, teaching the big life lessons. Well,
I'm telling you, it really does. It really, really does.
yes, it really does. So let me start light. I thought there was an incredibly nice balance of humor in this movie. Even though the last 20 minutes is like a giant sob fest from scene to scene, there's some great light moments to break it up. Norman being completely flustered about how to talk about the fact that Rhiannon Fish's character, Charlie, is visibly about to give birth and he's not allowed to talk about it is amazing.
Baby.
Yes. Another great Jeff Gustafson moment is late in the movie, Rita says something and she's like, don't worry, Ramon's going to take care of everything. And Jeff's face is perfection. Thank you for keeping the Ramon hate going strong. Hates a Ross. I don't think he hates him. He just finds his existence exasperating.
And I love it. I love that it has continued in every single movie. It's just so great. It's something I look forward to in the movies now. I'm like waiting for Jeff's like reaction or Norman's reaction to Ramon. It's so good.
I wonder if Martha Williamson has been given enough credit for creative problem solving in her writing. Particularly, let's talk about adopting. I think the easy choice for the writers to make is to have Norman and Rita adopt this baby. And that would be a lovely storyline. And that would give them a baby. And that would help this young mother out who doesn't feel like she's in the position to raise a child. But they don't do that. They do the thing that makes so much sense in the signed, sealed, delivered universe. Only Norman and Rita could invite this young woman to live in their home that they've just purchased and adopt her and support her. And I think it is amazing the way that they do it. Oh, you don't?
I thought it was lovely. I'm going to talk about it in my wishes. I'm struggling with that just a little bit because I love Norman's reframing of the situation. And of course, that comes from Martha. And like you said, problem solving. He says, let's be Charlie's miracle rather than she being our miracle, right? And I think it's a lovely gesture to help Charlie and her baby, but I also think it's kind of weird. It's just unconventional, perhaps.
It definitely is.
So
As are
maybe not
they.
weird. Yes, you are right. You're absolutely right about that.
I'm curious to hear more, but the way I see it is Norman had a very unconventional upbringing and really lacked for family. There was a lot of people in his life, but not a lot of family in his life, whether found or biological. And in this situation, this baby has so much more family, and I could see Norman really embracing that solution. Adding, not subtracting.
I see the pluses.
I'm open to it being a little weird, though.
Okay. I need to talk about Sherry Miller, who plays Shane's mom, Sharon. While I was watching this movie, in my notes I wrote, woof, this woman is a lot. But the character is so well written and acted. I just love that. Like, she would kind of go toe-to-toe with Oliver. What I loved most, when she tells Oliver that she would like to be the mom that he deserved, man, the waterworks I experienced here.
Yes.
It was So lovely. And then for me, in parallel to that, we have Joe, who has such a great ear for Shane and such a great support for Shane. And we all know that Shane has an absent father, right? So we have Joe has stepped in as this father figure for Shane. And now we have Shane's mom stepping in as this mother figure for Oliver. It's just a really nice, beautiful family dynamic.
Yes, and it's unexpected because Sharon doesn't give you the impression that she's going to be the kind of woman that says, let me be the mother you deserve. She doesn't give you the impression on first glance that she's going to be the kind of woman that sees Oliver for who he is. And that's what's so great about it to me. It would have been great if that woman had said to Oliver, let me be the mother you deserve. But it's so much more special to me that this is the woman who says it, this woman who is clearly not easy to please, who you can't get one over on her. And she just looks at him and knows exactly who he is and wants to be his family.
Well, what is so cool about it too is that, you know, we have these characters where Shane seems completely polar opposite of her mom, but really down to brass tacks, they see Oliver for who he is. They both do. And they both share like that kind of nurturing and understanding of Oliver.
They had to continue the theme of breaking my heart with Oliver's emotions. The Dumbarton Oaks bear story. I just am so mad about the tears that I cried. The way I felt about Oliver in this movie, I was like, somebody please hug that man.
Did you like how the bear is sitting with Joe?
Oh my gosh. That Shane knew exactly where to find the bear, and the bear goes to the wedding.
It was very sweet. When he opened that box, and I was like, oh my God.
There were a lot of oh my God moments like that in this movie, but I do love that Shane was like, their leaving isn't about you, it's about them. And
that advice is so good, right?
it is so good. And that scene also, when she says, I will never leave you, and she repeats herself, I was like, oh, this is Goodwill Hunting. It's not your fault all over again.
Megan, you are right. When I'm watching that scene, I was like, this is next level. This is next level writing and acting. I am watching a theatrical movie that should be winning an Oscar right now. Like, it was so good.
Are these the best wedding vows we've ever seen on television?
Dude, come on. I mean, of course,
So personal.
I wish Martha Stewart had written my wedding vows.
Right. Martha Williamson. I mean, either really.
But yes, I wish they were lovely. And having like Rita and Norman reading like that verse back and forth was really good too.
Really, the directing of and editing of that was amazing. Our teenage Owen, our young Owen with leukemia, when they return, Fred.
I was a blubbering mess.
When we find out that the firefighters are there, I lost it. That's one of those moments where when he moves to the side, a fire chief steps in, and then they all part, and they're all standing there as he walks. I can't.
I know that was so good. And it really speaks a lot to, and they mention it in the movie too, about like how a firehouse is really like a family. They really support all each other. And they're like, okay, he's family and we're here to support this young man who's going through all this health issue and whatever. Yeah, that was good. I was a mess. I was such a mess when he sees Fred. And I was like, man, this kid is a great actor.
And he says like, hey, Fred.
Oh my God. And I would also like to shout out Owen's incredible woman of a mother who honors her late husband by becoming a firefighter herself. Now, IMDb does not have this actor listed.
Yes. The actress who plays his mother is named Samantha Cole. She has 39 acting credits. She was in Legend of the Lost Locket, Friends and Family Christmas, Wedding of a Lifetime, A Christmas Treasure, Advice to Love By. She's been in The bold type.
Hey, I love that show.
Yeah, she's been in quite a bit. Unreal. Yes, she's amazing.
Well, I thought her character was amazing. Yeah, I just thought that was really, really good. I like this. You know, sometimes I don't love the missions. I did love this Postable mission in this movie. I thought it was a little convoluted at times. Like I was confused about it just was a lot of names and how they were all connected and etc. But it came full circle and it was lovely.
Cool. Did you like anything else?
I did. There were a couple very simple but brilliant lines in this movie. The first one, Shane and Oliver are in the DLO, and Oliver isn't himself. He's actually kind of being a jerk to Shane about work stuff. And she says 2 words to him. She refers to him as Mr. O'Toole. And then it just clearly conveys that she's pissed. And I just thought that was so good. Another great one is when Sharon asks what everybody wants for dinner and Oliver says clams and a nice red wine. I died. This is why you have to watch the entire series to see like what that even means.
I love that line. And then later there's a moment where Shane and Oliver are walking and Shane gets a phone call and she doesn't actually say it, but you know it's from her mother. And she's like, anyone will do, like pick a Pinot. And then you hear her off screen. She's like, well, you offered. Like clearly her mother is annoyed by this request. And it's just, I love that way of conveying it. Like you couldn't have said, let's order a pizza.
Yeah. I also really loved all the flashback scenes we get throughout this movie.
Me too.
And if this had been the final movie, I thought that it was to give viewers like this beautiful bow. Like it highlighted all the amazing guests that they've had over the times and that they weren't just throwaway characters. They really meant something to the overall story. I just thought it was great.
You know, I think it must be so hard to have so many moments where you think this is your series finale. There's another To the Altar feels like a series finale, and as discussed in that episode, they believed it was. This feels like a series finale. It seems quite obvious that they believed it was since it took 3 years for another movie to get made. There's another movie several movies back that was thought to be the finale. The DLO was dismantled at that point as well. It just must be a challenge to work in that situation and think, oh, we're done. And then it gets brought back. And I can understand with this ensemble cast and so many supporting characters, it's not necessarily easy to get it made. It's not so much saying like, hey, we want to make a new one. We've got a minimum of 4 people that need to come back. But I want Gregory Harrison back. I want Rhiannon Fish back now. I want Hazel to come back. I want Ramon, right? So you need all of these people to make it work.
Mm-hmm. From a creative standpoint, like I imagine that's super frustrating. Like that Hallmark's not like, here, we're going to greenlight the next 5 movies for you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like there's no definitive end. So when they make them, it seems like it could be the end.
I appreciate that they tie those bows though, right? The end of To the Altar ends with Oliver and Shane engaged. It ends with them headed in the right direction. We're doing the best we can to wrap up the story while leaving more story to tell. Mm-hmm. To be fair, they will have had 14 movies by the end of To the Moon, and that's a good run.
That it's a really good run.
Okay, let's talk wishes.
Okay, well, I have 2. Mm-hmm. Let's first address the Rita, Norman, Charlie triangle, which we talked about previously. I don't get it because they talk about like timing. And for me personally, I'm a little unclear exactly like what the timing between Rita and Norman's wedding and this movie is. Mm-hmm. Has it been years? Have Rita and Norman been trying to have a baby for years? Or did they just get married? I don't know. Then they have this like, oh, we're not conceiving right away. So, and we really want to have a baby right now. So let's take in this young woman and her baby. Just feels weird to me. And we already talked about it being unconventional, but it was an interesting way to move the story that way. And I am interested to see in the next movie how that has played out. Is Charlie still living with them? Are they raising this child as like the three of them? Or are Rita and Norman just there as like this support figure for her? I'm curious to see where that goes.
Yeah, it has been at least a little bit of time because they've planned a full wedding since the last movie. I mean, it was 3 years in real time. And Rita and Shane are walking and they are talking about Rita being disappointed at another negative pregnancy test. But it's not clear exactly how long it has been now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Here's my other wish. Where is Shane's sister? Had this whole previous movie where they reconnect and it's so great. I am a little disappointed that Alex doesn't even appear. She doesn't have to have the full storyline. Have her show up at the wedding, have Shane give her a hug and be like, it's so good to see you, Alex. Boom, done.
Or they don't even like
sense.
discuss it like, she's not, like the mom doesn't even say, like, she was so, she wished she could have been here, but more gambling debt or whatever.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in that.
I have two things that I'm unclear about. I got lost in the weeds of the timeline of Owen's diagnosis because at one point the mom's like, yeah, it's been 2 years. Obviously, the child that she takes into the hospital is much younger. It's not a teenager. And even the cast sheet says Owen age 7, Owen age 15. So 8 years have passed. That was unclear to me how long that had been going on. The whole Fred thing confused me because they thought he was lost because they had to pull out of a fire. And he got left taking Fred into the fires. Leave Fred safely on the truck.
It'd be a real afterthought, right? If you're truly fighting a huge forest fire, you're not like grab the stuffed animal too so he can be out on the line with us.
He's very flammable. Keep him in the truck. Let him be your little mascot from the window of the truck.
I agree.
Because I don't think they like pulled out of the fire and left their fire truck there to burn. Anyway, it was just confusing to me. That's all. I just thought, what are we doing with poor Fred here?
That's fair. Super fair.
I actually have no did you see that?
I have 3.
Oh my goodness. Go.
The first one is we have the same opening song as in the previous movie. It's All Good by Kyle Treadway. I'm anxious to see what is used in the next movie. Mm-hmm. This one's from IMDb, but we got middle names in this movie when Oliver and Shane are doing their vows. And he calls her Shane Shannon McInerney. I have the hardest time saying that last name. Say it for me.
McInerney, knowing that her mother is Shane and Shannon and Sharon. And
yeah, man. Say that 3 times.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of S's. Yeah. And then, of course, Oliver is Oliver Joseph Lindley O'Toole. I'm curious, like, the backstory on the middle names here. Finally, a true, did you see that? After the wedding, the 4 of them are walking into the street, and Shane's wedding gown is dragging through a puddle of water.
Yes, I did see that.
I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, they must have been real convinced that they did not have another shot to get after that.
For real. I mean, even like you would just be holding all your dress up. You're not letting it drag on like the asphalt, especially wet asphalt.
No, ma'am. Lift it up.
Mm-hmm. All right. Are you ready to rate this one?
Sure. 5 stars. It's 5 stars.
It's a 5-star banger for me too.
Yeah, it was great. Great. Mm-hmm. Loved it.
I'm a little worried.
I was going to say the same thing.
Are you worried to be disappointed with the next one?
Yes. Yes.
Me too.
How could it be as good? How could they be as good?
I'm telling you, this was an incredible series finale. If it ended here, I would be happy. You know,
it would be okay. It would be okay with me if this were the ending of the story as well.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark. If you love listening to this podcast, we love reading your 5-star ratings and reviews. The best place to leave them is in the Apple Podcast app. It's the best way to help other people find our podcast. We'll be back next week with our final signed, sealed, delivered review of 2024. Goodbye.